Hey everyone, so let's talk about generative AI and education. You probably think you've got a pretty good handle on it, right? Well, today we're going to show you why a lot of the common wisdom out there is, well, it's just plain wrong. Let's dive in. You gotta love this quote from Harvard professor Bharat Anand. It just perfectly nails the weirdness of today's AI. This mix of, incredible genius and just baffling mistakes. Keep that idea in your head as we go because it's actually way more important than it sounds. So, why is this conversation so urgent? Well, look at this. It took radio 20 years to get to half the US population. Smartphones took about 7 years. Chatbots, 2.5. The speed of this thing is completely off the charts. We just don't have the luxury of sitting around and waiting to figure this all out. And that brings us right to the heart of it. You've definitely heard some of these ideas about AI in the classroom. They're kind of the common sense takes, right? They sound totally reasonable, totally logical on the surface. Yeah, about that. We're going to make the case today that every single one of those common beliefs is fundamentally flawed. And we're going to break down exactly why. All right, let's kick things off with myth number 1, the idea that this whole thing is an intelligence revolution. That the big story is just that the AI models are getting smarter. But that's not the real story. The real story is about access. Just look at this timeline. This is basically our entire relationship with computers. We started with punch cards, then we moved to command prompts, then we got the graphical interface with Windows. And see? Each step just shrunk the distance between us and the machine. And the latest leap? It was that super simple search bar in ChatGPT. That's what unlocked AI for literally everyone. And that right there is the key. For decades, AI was locked away in the world of software engineers and tech experts. But the explosion we're living through right now, it happened because that barrier to entry just completely collapsed. The real disruption isn't just a smarter machine. It's that billions of us can now talk to it. Okay, on to myth number 2. This is the idea that because AI makes mistakes or hallucinates, we should all just wait on the sidelines until it's perfect. And honestly, this is a trap that a lot of really smart, careful people are falling into. Let's think about this a different way. Have you ever flown a budget airline, something like Ryanair? The experience is basic, no frills, right? And yet, it has been the most profitable airline in Europe for 30 years. Why? Because it's not about giving you a better premium product, it's about saving you a massive amount of money and time. AI is the same deal. Even when it's not perfect, its value can be absolutely enormous. And this gets us to a really crucial shift in thinking. We tend to get obsessed with what's called prediction error. Basically, how often is the AI wrong? But the much, much more important question is about the cost of error. What actually happens when it gets something wrong? Is it a tiny problem or is it a complete catastrophe? This framework just lays it all out. We shouldn't be asking, is AI good enough? We should be asking, where is it good enough? So look at the bottom left. For something like customer support, the cost of a mistake is pretty low. Same with the top left, brainstorming marketing ideas. Even for high-stakes stuff like legal documents, you can use it as long as you have a human in the loop to double-check the work. The only place you really want to avoid for now is that top right quadrant, like designing an airplane. That means there are 3 whole areas where imperfect AI is incredibly useful, right now. So let's now tackle 2 myths that are really tangled up together. The role of AI tutors, and this idea that AI is going to be this great equalizer for everyone. The truth about how these 2 things play out is way more surprising than you'd think. You have to see this. In an experiment at Harvard, they took students in a big science class and split them up. One group got access to the university's amazing, highly rated human tutors. The other group got an AI tutor. The results? The students using the AI bot consistently scored higher on their tests. Higher? Okay, so if AI tutors can be that good, and everyone can get one, then this should finally be the thing that levels the playing field in education, right? I mean, it just seems logical that it would close the gap between those who have resources and those who don't. But let's look at a pretty sobering stat from the last big education revolution: free online courses. On platforms like edX, a mind-blowing 75% of the people who actually completed courses from top universities already had a college degree. And there it is. That's the paradox. The educated rich just got richer. But why? Well, it's because having existing knowledge and skills, things like curiosity and motivation, makes you better at using new tools. And with AI, it's the same story.
Experts are just better at writing prompts, at spotting bad information, and at using the results. So instead of closing the gap, AI could actually make it even wider.
All of this really forces us to step back and ask a much bigger, much deeper question. If an AI can give you the answers, write your essays, and explain any concept, then what is school even for? Because content is basically free now. It's a commodity. Skills? That's what's valuable. Just think about it for a second and be honest with yourself. How many times in your adult life have you actually needed to write out a geometry proof? Or, I don't know, recall all the state capitals? Yeah, probably not too often. Maybe never. So why did we spend all that time learning it? And here's the aha moment. The value was never really about the content itself. The point of doing all those geometry proofs wasn't the proofs, it was learning logic. The point of memorizing state capitals was to train our memory. Case studies taught us how to listen and communicate. This hidden curriculum, that was always the real point. So in this new world that's just overflowing with AI-generated answers, these uniquely human skills become the new premium. Things like curiosity, to ask the right questions, judgment, to tell if the answers are any good, and empathy, to actually connect with other people. These are the things AI can't do, and they're what education has to focus on now. Which leaves us with one final and really critical question. If AI is the one providing all the answers, then what is the role of the teacher? Are they a guide, a coach, a mentor? That's the conversation that we all need to be having, and it's the one that's going to define the future of learning for generations to come. Thanks for tuning in.